So, alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the FSL Singapore Malaysia 2020 qualifiers. My name is Aries. I hope that you guys have been looking forward to this as much as I have been. So, amidst all the situation that's going on right now with the coronavirus, especially in Southeast Asia, we have taken measures to make sure that everyone stays safe. So, this is going to be an online qualifiers, obviously. I'm not sure about how the finals is going to go down. We'll update you guys as well. So if you want to check that out, you can head on down to FSL social media, especially on Facebook, as well as the rest, to find out more about that. But looks like we've already gotten game 1 underway. So without further ado, let's just dive right in. Let's just not waste any more time. It looks like the teams are already ready. So let's just jump straight into it. Alright, so there we go. Our first game of the day, or rather of this evening, depending on where you guys are watching from. It's actually going to be an interesting draft because we've got team that's going to be playing on the blue side, and then we have the MYAs that's playing on the red end. And there we go. Finally got the audio up for you guys. Ratio is a bit off, but I'm guessing that we can definitely get that fixed pretty soon. But for now, this is how the game will look like. We've got interesting draft happening right now. We're gonna see Ling as well as Claude getting banned out, whereas on the side of MYAs, we have Valor as well as Kerry getting banned out, and obviously team from Singapore, we have the MYAs, as the name suggests, I'm guessing from Malaysia. We have a Grok, Diggy as well as Granger pickup. Pretty interesting to see Diggy get picked up as well. We know, coming from the MPL, Diggy definitely does have a lot more priority picks. Really good against a lot of CC. You can see the Selena really getting picked up, same as the Sylvana. Both have damaging or rather punishing CCs if your carries are caught out of position. And then we also have an interesting pickup in the Uranus, which is something I wouldn't have expected coming early into this game. Obviously, with the introduction of Atlas, if you play ranks, you would know that you don't see that much Uranus now. But that being said, Atlas will not be available. So, or not available, I wouldn't say not available, but not allowed into the draft. So that's the reason why we won't be seeing Atlas for today. You gotta wait for 2 weeks till the heroes have been fully released before we see Atlas. So tomorrow will mark the 2 weeks. So I'll get a word from the organizers as to whether or not we'll allow Atlas tomorrow. Not sure about that. But for now, we'll definitely know that it will not be available today. So we'll be streaming 2 games today, or rather this evening. We'll actually be seeing this matchup between team and the MYAs, and then after that we'll see Lilith up against Alpha Gaming. So the Alpha Gaming, I'm pretty excited for that. Alpha Gaming, they've been recruiting for quite a bit. I've seen them, promoting on Facebook and trying to get new members. So I'm excited to see what kind of lineup they will put up. But for now, team gonna be completing their lineup with the Terisla as well as the Nana. And so they've got a pretty squishy lineup, I would say. Their backline is really squishy. They have decent amount of CC with the Terisla as well as the Nana and the Diggy with the auto alarm bomb. They have Nana's CC as well as Teresla's ultimate. So it's quite punishing, I would say, if you get drawn to a fight. But if you look at the way that the side of the MYAs have drawn up, it's pretty good as well. I mean, you've got a Halkut, you've got a Kufra, which I'm pretty surprised. Kufra coming late into this draft. A lot of flame shots across the board, right? 5. So we're gonna see the Grok, there's the Diggy. So very aggressive lineup, I would say, coming in from the side of team. So yeah, this is how the draft will look like for now. We've got Swan getting played from Nana, Ing playing the Granger, Diggy played by Sun. We've got Terisla played by Blood, and Hera's gonna be playing the Grok Whereas on the side of the MYAs, it looks like Diana as well as Aiza will be playing the Selena Kufa respectively. Savannah played by Jamila. Tempaka played by Hellcut, as well as Uranus played by Sarah. Hopefully I got the names right.
5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them! All troops deployed!
So this is the draft that we will be running. And obviously, I'm very excited to see how the first game will go on. Shout out to Yahoo, as well as Super Solid. And last but not least, we also have to give a big shout out to Dreamcore for making this possible. Remember, this is probably organized by Fsl. But here we are, first game of the day, Dream Team up against the MYAs. And looks like we're going to be seeing a bit of a mid rotation coming in from the Diggy as well as the Granger. Doing pretty decently in mid. Oh, Kufra taking quite a bit of shot, has to be careful. But here we go, jumping right in Selena. Trying with the Abyssal Arrow, not going to be landing on anyone for now. Terisla handling the Uranus really well in the bot lane. Quite expectedly, I mean Terisla's just really punishing down the bot lane by himself, or rather by herself. And then you just got Hera just up the top lane, up against this Sylvana, having a little bit of support for the Granger of the Rhapsody. An interesting update though, for those who are not aware, Rhapsody now can be interrupted with stuns. So that, for those Granger players out there, remember to take note, you're not that OP anymore. That being said, you know, Granger is still a very balanced marksman. She's still one of the more stable marksmen per se. That being said, you know, marksmen are generally more important now. With a lot of nerfs onto the mages, you don't see them, you know, putting as much burst damage as they used to, especially coming into the new update. Sylvana might get ganked right on top. Has to be aware about the positioning and good map awareness to actually back off for a little bit. Only last stun not being put off. Meanwhile, Blood taking a lot of damage in bot lane. Selena, I think Selena actually managed to land it. They actually do use the flame shot, and that's gonna allow them to secure that first blood down in the bot lane. They should be able to get this tier 1 tower. Should be a swap as well for team onto the top side, but a rival coming in from Terisla. So Blood's gonna make sure that tower stands for now. Kufra diving a little bit too deep in my opinion, but doesn't get punished for that.
Initiate retreat.
Meanwhile, top lane, Ing will secure with the rest of the team the first turret of the game. While Selena and the rest of MY will find a little bit of trouble trying to push right onto the base now. So Sarah as well as Diana can't really get to Chipaka in time. That's gonna allow them to get the return kill, and that's gonna be the turtle as well. So good follow through from team. Uranus diving in a little bit too late. I think you should just give the turtle right there in that situation. I mean, there really isn't. It's a really tough spot to be in, especially for Uranus. Jumping in like that without the rest of the team doesn't really help much. It would have been really worth it if they did manage to steal the turtle away. But Jamila doing a good job at split pushing, making use of the situation, you know, for kind of revealing themselves at the turtle pit. And she does get the top tower for her team. Meanwhile, Blood will trade it off. So 4 minutes in, we do see team leading just by a little bit. You know, they've got 2 kills, they've got the turtle. But generally, you know, the MY is still in it for the long run. Good stun coming in from Sylvana. Hellcat does get caught out, and that's gonna be the Diggy. Nana's ultimate coming in, landing a big shot onto both of them. Aisha barely making it out alive. Selena will use the Abyssal Arrow just to get her team out of the way. And Aisha, that is a little bit too close for comfort. If the auto lump bomb actually had landed a little bit just a little bit further onto the tier 2 tower, that could have just picked her up. So you do see the graph definitely very heavily in favor of Team, and they definitely do want to catch someone out in the bot lane, but Soon just doing a really good job of making sure that it's going to be impossible for them to even catch anyone out at this point.
Turtle resurrecting soon.
Grok split pushing onto the top side. And this is actually quite a tough game for Uranus in my opinion, right? Because he doesn't really have someone that he can jump on. I mean, he does have a bit of resistance, but you look at the lineup coming in from Team, they have so much magical damage, right? They have the Diggy, they have the Nana, and the only one person that he can really thank is the Granger. And Granger is not even the bulk of the problem right now. Looks like they want to go for a big engagement right now. Krufra, really good with the Krufra's Revenge, but I don't think the Tyrant's Revenge will be enough. They do get 2 kills off the bat. And Grok's not even there to join the fight. Grok is actually all by herself. She's just pushing top, while the rest of the team just crushing all this catch outs. Sylvana's gonna jump right in, but there's no follow-up from the rest of the teammates. That's gonna be an easy kill to Jamila. And now they might be able to get Diggy. Oh! The Kufra actually misses the second skill, and that's not gonna be available for them. 20 seconds before he comes back up, or she comes back up. Meanwhile, Hera's gonna be able to secure that top lane with the Granger. Terizla's gonna be pushing onto the bottom. There's nothing this Uranus can do against her. And we haven't seen a huge penalty zone coming out from Terizla just yet. When that penalty zone comes in, it's gonna cancel all the effectiveness that Sylvana has. Because she's gonna be able to man-fight this Sylvana. Doesn't really matter how, you know, Jamila tries to break this Terizla down. As long as the Terizla stands her ground, I find it just so tough for Sylvana to break Blood down. And that's without the rest of the damage coming in from the rest of Team, right? You have the Diggy with the Alolan Bomb, you got Nana with the first skill, you got Granger with the D, she's got Death Sonata, you got Grok with the Power of Nature. And there's just so much burst damage available on the side of Team that it's gonna be hard for anyone on the side of the MYAs to even soak up that amount of damage. Even with the Krufa by, you know, the Uranus side. They find another gank onto Sylvana in their own jungle, and this is where things get really scary. Look at the amount of damage coming up. Nana's just gonna drop a casual ulti in with the Reds for D, gets another kill onto the Kufra. And now they have 2 choices, right? Either defend top or bottom. And in this case, it's either way they're gonna lose a turret. And to make things worse, looks like they're gonna push down the mid lane. Aisha, 3 more seconds. Grok just gonna be soaking up that Abyssal Arrow. And remember, Grok, when she's doing the first skill, when she's charging up her first skill, she's like immune to CC, so she can just stand in front, soak up all the Abyssal Arrows that the Selena's throwing out. And worst come to worst, they can just use Diggy's ultimate to just get them out of trouble. So Selena's Abyssal Arrow gonna be landing onto the Diggy, but they're not gonna be able to follow up on that. Having a little bit of issue breaking this Terizla down. They might be able to do so, and yes, they will. So finally, they do find a much needed gank in the bot lane. A little bit of an overextend from Terizla, if I can say so. With that way, Aisha taking quite a bit of damage. Meanwhile, you can see both teams putting a lot of focus down onto the bot lane, because that's where the Lord has come up. Hauka doing a little bit of a split pushing while Sylvana will clear up the bottom lane, push out those creeps. try to apply a bit of pressure in the bot lane. Maybe, hopefully, Team will review themselves and they can go for a lot. But meanwhile, Kufa already jumping onto the back line. They want to get this DG right here. But time reversal will be used. Meanwhile, Grok using the ultimate. Aisha taking quite a bit of damage right here. First one to go down will be her. Jamila gets pulled back by the Digi. Meanwhile, top lane getting pushed up by Terisla. And that's gonna summon Uranus as well as Hellcat to push her back. Meanwhile, the rest of Team is gonna be able to secure this lot. It's gonna be a no contest. And they probably will get the mage buff. But that's gonna be the blue buff coming onto Team as well. Doing a good job at securing that. Look at that, they're just gonna use Death Sonata right in the face of the MYAs. Selena once again throwing an Abyssal Arrow. They might be able to catch something right here. Kufar charging up first skill, but not really landing on anyone. He has Magic Ball, but there's just not enough damage coming in for the MYAs. They're doing a really good job at zoning them out. Look at that, they're just gonna stuff everything out. Wait for Lot to come in the mid lane. It is the first Lot, so they should take this down pretty easily, but look at that, Team just doing a good job. Teresa jumping in, penalty zone right onto the Kufa. They will blow her up. Lord's pushing right in. Another burst damage coming from Aim. That critical strike from Death Sonata will secure the job. And they're gonna wipe out the Hellcat. It's gonna be a team wipe right here. A Savage. And that's gonna be game 1 coming in from the side of Team.
Victory!
And that pretty much is it. Game 1 going in Team's favor. So that was a pretty straightforward game coming up on Team, right? They did an absolutely fantastic job controlling the mid lane, ganking at the right time. So let's take a look at the stats, shall we? Because it was pretty much quite one-sided per se coming into the mid game and late game onwards. I mean, you can't really blame the MYAs because Team just did a fantastic job at controlling the whole game. They did lose the first blood. Ironically, coming into blood from the bottom lane, she was actually ganked out by the entire team of the MYAs, and Selena just did an absolute fantastic job in controlling the bot lane, but it took too long to break that first tier tower down, and that was thanks to, or no thanks I would say, coming in from Blood. She had the rival, she delayed the push coming in from the MYAs. They were not able to get her a second time. They didn't get the tower fast enough, and Team just had the faster rotation from there. They got the top tower, and then afterwards they controlled the entire game from there. They got a couple of ganks off the Sylvana, they got a couple of ganks off the, I believe it was Hellcat. And if you look at the draft coming in from the MYAs, they didn't really have a marksman, so there was no late game element available for them. It's a really early game draft, don't get me wrong. They had the Kufa, they had the Selena, they have the Hellcat. So if they could have gotten that early ball, that early snowball running, that could have been a really good draft, because you have plenty of damage coming from the Abyssal Arrow. Then you've got Hellcat, you got Darkness Falls, and then you've got so much burst potential coming in from your team. But when you face up against a lineup like a Team where it's so balanced and they have so much available on the entire draft, you have the damage coming from Nana, you have Digi who's able to negate any CC with the time reversal, and then you also have the Grok who's not only a really decent tank. If you look at what Hera actually built, she actually went for Queen's Wing, so she's got not only tankiness in her, she's got sustain, she got damage because of the base stats coming out from Grok, and you combine that with the burst damage coming out from the Terisla, who actually went Bloodlust Axe, and then she went into the Blade of Despair, so she's going a lot of damage. So the entire lineup on the side of Team just does so well against the MYAs, and that's only the mid game portion. So it just came down to decisiveness of Team being able to blow them up early game and then being able to take it from there. So we'll go for a short 5 minutes break, but I'm guessing that when we're back, we're going to game 2. I'm sure they will be swapping sides. So MY Ace will go into the blue side, and then we'll see Team go onto the red side, and hopefully Team or rather the MY Ace will be the comeback. Remember, this is going to be a best of 3 series. So only the finals is going to be a best of 5. We'll go for a short break, but when we're back, we'll give you more MLBB.
The warm feel of my passion burning! Woohoo! You feel that? Hey, very nice kick! I'm on top of the world!
Killing spree! Mega kill!
You feel that? Ha!
You have slain an enemy! Launch attack! Legendary!
Ha!
Double kill!
Ha!
Legendary!
I'm on top of the world! Hey!
First blood!
Download for free Mobile Legends Bang Bang.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys had a really quick toilet break, because we are about to get game 2 started underway right now. Hopefully you guys did manage to catch up game 1. So just a brief update, team actually did manage to pick up game 1 against the MYs, who had a quite an unorthodox draft, I would say. So let's get game 2 underway. Alright, so here we go. The draft already started. The team names are actually on the wrong side, so let me just change that up. So we've got team that's playing on the red side, and then we've got the MYAs that's actually playing on the blue side. So there we go. That's gonna be updated right now. That's gonna be it. Team currently playing on the red, and they've banned out both the Link as well as Claude, so similar draft coming into game 1. Same goes for the MYAs, they ban out both the carry as well as the Valor. So, I mean, no surprises there, right? Valor's just something that, in my opinion, it's really good, with Flame Shot. He's able to just take any hero on at level 1 because of his passive. He's got the stun, he's got the double shots coming in, you've got Flame Shot on top of it, and it just gets so annoying to deal with. And then you've got his ultimate, which just allows him to get out of any CC. So even if you got Selena that lands a Abyssal Arrow, or even if, like, for example, like Moskov, right? If a Blade of Despair, she's just able to just get out because of his ultimate. So I don't see a reason why not to ban him out. Meanwhile, on this side of Team, I can guess why they want to ban out Ling. If you look at the heroes that they play with, you've got Digi, you've got heroes with Nana as well. Heroes that don't really do well when they're able to have opponents that can get close to them really quick. That's something like a Link with his ultimate. He's able to just jump on top of them. He doesn't really need much CC, right? Because he's got plenty of damage in his kit. So this is one of the reasons why they want to ban him out. That's just a possibility. But for now, it looks like the MYAs, they have to do something right here. They have seen what Team are able to put out. And for now, looks like we've got a Grok getting picked up as well. So looks like we're gonna see Grok getting picked up. We see Rafael also getting picked up. Same goes for Sylvana. So the MYA is really putting a lot of focus onto that Sylvana, which is pretty interesting because it's something that I wouldn't prioritize. I think she's a pretty decent hero, but she's not something that I would say it's a must to have in the draft. But it's fine, it could be a comfort hero, so that's still available. But once again, similar draft coming up from this side of Team, but this time around, instead of picking up the Nana, they pick up the Selena. So both works pretty much the same, where you have a stun, you have plenty of burst damage in the kit, but Selena's definitely a way more dangerous hero to deal with because Selena's just a really bursty assassin, whereas Nana's kind of more of that support mage role. Both fits the bill if you look at the way Team play, right? They have plenty of CC in their lineup, so it's absolutely almost similar, I would say, to what we saw coming from game 1. But this time around, instead of pick up the Grok, because the MI team took it, kind of denied them the Grok, they will pick up the Hylot. So it's still fine, right? You still got AoE damage with the aura. You still got the tankiness in that both the Grok and Hylos are both aren't the squishiest thing out there. And then you've got damage in the kit. So that's going to be the draft available for both teams. We're going to see the Roger, Rafaela, Sylvana, Lapu Lapu as well as the Grok. Whereas on the side of Team, they're going to be playing the Digi, Granger, Selena, Terisla, and Hylos. So there we go. Right now, you've got Team as well. The rest can be playing on the red side. Well, we got the MYAs playing on the blue side. Got Hylos right down the middle. Gonna be clearing up the lane, but Selena's gonna jump straight for the buff, which is fine. That's gonna give Hylos that level 2. Gonna run straight into Jamila and the bot lane as well. Hera taking quite a bit of damage coming from Jamila. But look at that, like, Hylos is just one irritating thing to deal with. Similarly to Grok, a lot of damage because of second skill. She's got the stun, and I'm pretty sure she can actually get the kill here. She's gonna drop the heal, and that's gonna allow her to dive a little bit, get the first blood off. And Jamila had absolutely nothing she could do against this Hylos. She's got the flame shot, but that's pretty much it. Like, you can push him back, but it's just gonna come straight back at you. Terisla gonna be harassing that Lapu Lapu, making sure that he doesn't push too far out into the lane. Meanwhile, Granger, as well as Diggy, taking up a very aggressive position to pressure that Sylvana back into it. Once again, no MM on the side of the MYAs, which is really interesting, seeing how much pressure they are getting. Sarah's gonna get completely destroyed by Team Tim. And it looks like they're gonna not only stop this, they're gonna push down the mid lane. That's gonna be mana regen boots coming in for the Selena. So I correct my words. I didn't notice there's actually a Roger in that, so that's pretty much the MM. They're putting an MM down the mid lane, which is a very old strat, right? MMs down the mid lane. They used to try to put a lot of farm onto the MMs, trying to get them online as fast as possible. But I think in this current meta, or rather the meta for the past year or so, has been, mage down the mid. The reason being, it's easier for them to rotate to the mage buff. They get the blue buff quicker, they level up quicker, and mages just come online compared to marksman, right? Once they get the level 4, they're pretty much able to burst anyone down, and this is why you see a lot of teams nowadays, or in fact every team nowadays, try to put the mage down the mid lane, get them to level 4. You rotate quicker, you gank the side lanes, you give your marksman that space and freedom to farm in the opening like 5 to 10 minutes of the game, which is what Team Tim is doing, right? You put the Terisla down top lane as an off laner, you get the Granger down to the bot lane, and he's able to just farm freely alongside another tank. And this time around, it looks like Sylvana's gonna get a little bit of damage. She's got the cosmetic lens, but I don't think she's able to do anything much. Meanwhile, the MYA is doing an absolutely fantastic job at ganking the top lane, although they do lose both the Grok as well as the Sylvana. I think they actually die for it, because I do see the Grok dying in the top side. High loss now. Coming into mid lane. And Hera's already at level 6, so I don't think we have seen her really use the glorious pathway yet. But that's going to be a big issue for the MY team to deal with, because they have heroes which are not really that mobile, right? You look at Rafaela, you look at Lapu Lapu, you look at Roger, especially Sylvana as well. None of the heroes have something that can actually dodge it. And look at that, instantly Abyssal Arrow right onto Sylvana, just jumping right onto the Terisla. Not even there, they don't even need the Terisla, they've got a 2 kills straight off. Ink just bursting up, and they might get the Roger as well. And here comes Sylvana, a little bit late to the party. And Jamila's gonna run for it, while 3 members of the MYAs once again gets picked up. Chempaka couldn't push the top lane fast enough, and now they're gonna lose the middle side. And this is starting to look very similar to the story that these two teams had in the first game, where we see Team Tim starting to ramp that snowball up. They're starting to look really dangerous in team fights. They're catching out members of the MYAs. And a lot of big items coming up for the side of Team Tim right now. Soon coming down to bot lane. Time reversal as well, just to make sure they get out with the movement speed. They nearly get the Granger, one more hit, but that is not enough, and Selena's will be able to secure the kill. onto the Roger. Now Jamila coming in with a rival, but I'm not too sure if that is what you want, or rather Blood coming with a rival and catching out Sylvana. Team not taking off their foot off the gas just yet. And now they're going to be able to pick up that turtle. Chabaka is going to be pushing up the top side, and I gotta say, like, as much as the MYAs are, you know, getting a lot of bursts, or rather getting a lot of engagements that they're not favorable with, once again, like, the penalties are just catching out the right members. They managed to catch out Aisha, you know, the Abyssal Arrow landing onto the Grok at the right time, stunning him up. And you see a completely different contrast with the way Team and the MYAs are rotating, because the Team is just pulling them into all these wrong rotations. And I was just about to say, like, as much as the MYAs do not want to go into all these team fights, it's just so hard, because, you know, Team's just rotating so quickly. You know, they're pushing out the lanes as fast as possible. They're trying to end the games as quickly as they can. And this doesn't even allow the Roger to enter the late game. Selena with the Abyssal Arrow not landing anything, but the Death Sonata from Ying is just kind of sending that warning to the MYAs, who now has to contest for the blue buff. I'm not sure if they might be able to get it. Hera already dropping to half health. A little bit of an overextension down does drop the heal. And now here comes the penalty zone for Blood. Will stun up the Lapu Lapu and instantly gets blown up. Meanwhile, the rest of Team, even without the high loss, still finding all these fights. 8 minutes in, 7k goal lead for the side of Team. Looking to end it here with game 2. Remember, this is a best of 3 series. I'm not sure if Ying can get out of this. Yes, he can. She might be able to use us the flash just in time. And here comes the rest of Team. They want a reversal on it. Gets pushed back with the flame shot. Jamila pushing back Blood, but they will pick up the Grok. And that's going to be a consolation prize for losing the Digi. Digi is going to review the position. They get a shot onto Diane. Meanwhile, mid lane, Jamila facing the 1v1 with Ying. He's got a healing buff. Death Sonata coming in. That's quite a bit of decent damage. But Jamila being able to run out just in time. Meanwhile, bot lane, 3v2. And with Lord coming up just on time, they might do one more push before going for Lord. They might be able to set up a trap here. There's just so much arsenal and Team's kit that's available to them that they can just try to get those kills in. And the only way that I see this, you know, going in the MYA's favor is if Sylvana can land a good Imperial Justice. They might be able to find one good team fight, because they have that decent AoE damage, especially with Lapu Lapu and Sylvana. But look at that, they're having trouble breaking Blood down, similar to what they had in game 1. They've already gotten a lot, and Team they now look to push both the middle and bot lane. Lapu Lapu doing a bit of slip pushing down on top side. Tim coming down the middle side. You see Terisla just constantly at the front line. They might be able to get the Grok here. And yes, they do. The front line is down. Jamila trying their best to do damage on the front line, but it's just not enough. And Terisla once again with the first kill slams down that hammer. And they will not only get a 4-man kill from the side of the MYAs, they get the second tier turret as well. They might get the game here. With the Lord pushing in the bottom side. They land the Abyssal Arrow. And this is pretty much GG. They should get the Lapu Lapu. And this is pretty much it. That's gonna be game. That's gonna be 2 in a row. And that is GG for the side of MYAs. Unfortunately for them, this is the end of the journey. But game 2, man, what a game from Tim. I gotta say, they just look so fantastic coming into this matchup. No mistakes there. Similar to what we saw in game 1. I can't think of a moment which I think they even had any trouble at all handling what, you know, the MYAs had to put on the table. They just did so well throughout the entire game, and they were just fantastic throughout. So that being said, you know, I think it's pretty much it. It's gonna be Team Tim picking up that game. They're going into the second round. So I gotta say, you know, congratulations to Team Tim. They were just so clinical throughout the entire game, similar to what we had in game 1. Like I said, unfortunately for MYAs, this is the end of the journey for it. Hopefully they will do better in our coming tournaments. You know, FSL, it's a year-long circuit. We still have a year end that's going on, so hopefully they will still keep in touch with us. With that being said, Team Tim will proceed into the next round, which I'm sure they will be up against Bidadari Esport. That should be the next opponent. Meanwhile, we have one more game for you that's will be happening today. That's gonna be Lilith up against Alpha Gaming. I talk about them. I'm very excited for these two teams. But just a little bit of an update, you know, we also have Raid 7's BAM that will be playing against Red Roses, Dreams that's going to be playing against Potato, and Asterisk is going to be playing against the winner of the game between Raid 7's BAM as well as Red Roses. We'll go for a little bit of a break, but when we are back, we'll bring you more MLBB.
The warm feel of my passion burning! Woohoo! You feel that? Hey, very nice kick! I'm on top of the world!
Killing spree! Mega kill!
You feel that? Ha!
You have slain an enemy! Launch attack! Legendary!
Ha!
Double kill!
Ha!
Legendary!
I'm on top of the world! Hey!
First blood!
Download for free Mobile Legends Bang Bang.
him harder. I'm gonna slaughter that pumpkin Franco myself.
Time to look alive, lads! Let's send Bane and his freaks back to the bottom of the sea! I can't bloody swim! My suffering brothers and sisters, you will be free.
Blimey, that's Aurora Heart. Boys, we've got a big booty to take.
is all that matters.
Killing spree! Monster kill! Double kill! Double kill! Legendary! Double kill! Mega kill! Executed! Double kill!
If only I could be
Legendary!
Download for free Mobile Legends Bang Bang.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the FSL Singapore Malaysia Mobile Legends 2020 qualifiers. Well, that's quite a mouthful. But once again, I am your caster for today, Aris. Hope you guys didn't miss out on the first match of the day that we had, or evening that we had, because that was pretty interesting. It was actually between Team Tim and the MYs. And for Team Tim, they managed to complete their 2-0. They will be up against Bidadari Esports next, but that's not the game that we're going to be streaming. This is the big match that I'm going to be talking about right now. It's going to be Lilith up against Alpha Gaming. Hopefully I pronounced that right. And I'm looking at the draft right now, or rather I'm looking at their heroes right now, and this is pretty interesting because we do see quite a bit of names right here. So I go through the names, which hopefully I don't slaughter the names right there. I'm going to be absolutely crush over this. In Lilith, we have Faizani, we have Kara, Sharif, Mama Jess, sorry about that, as well as Sohai, and as well, whereas on the side of Alpha Gaming, we have Hello Daphne, we've got Kimiko, Shah, May, as well as Mama Grey. I think the players are pretty much ready, so we can pretty much begin anytime on my end. But just to go through a little bit, for those who have not caught up with MLBB, there has been quite a few changes. Obviously, Atlas being the newest hero to come into the game. But like I said, we'll not be seeing Atlas because it's a new hero. So we gotta wait for 2 weeks before we allow Atlas into the draft. And coincidentally, tomorrow will be the day that will be 2 weeks from his release. So hopefully we'll be able to see Atlas tomorrow. With that being said, I think our draft is already about to begin, so let's just jump straight into it. So there we go on your screen right now. We've got Lilith on the blue side, and for Alpha Gaming we have them on the red end. And looks like we're gonna see a Grok ban, as well as a carry ban on the side of Lilith. Whereas on Alpha Gaming, they will take out the Savannah and the Claude. So similar to what we saw coming into the game between Tim as well as the MYAs, we do see the carry getting banned out. I mean, carry is one of the most stable. Like I said, for the same thing for Granger, I think both the carry as well as the Grok are one of the most stable heroes. I mean, carry, she scales very well into the late game. She's a hero which you absolutely do not want to face, especially at the earlier start, because she has a bit of a dash, right? And with the spinning crossbow, or rather light bow, she's not exactly the easiest card as well, because you have to go through that. That's a slow on it. She's able to keep a distance away from you. She has a tank straddle. She farms quite decently in the jungle. She has so much burst damage towards the end, especially if you go for different builds available to her. I mean, she's one of the most flexible heroes in terms of build. I've seen heroes that go for Demon Hunter Sword, as well as the Golden Staff, and then there's also people that decide to go for really low cooldown builds. So she's one of those heroes that's super flexible, and really, it really depends on how you decide to play her. That's how you really decide to build, go on either builds. But looks like for now, we've got the Valor, so I'm really excited. I mean, I've been playing Valor for quite a bit. I'm addicted to playing Valor, in fact, because of I mentioned about his stun, as well as the flames that he can actually put out because of his passive. When he gets the 3 stack on the opponents, for every skill that you land on your opponents, you get a stun, which is always nice to have. He's got a high amount of burst towards the late game, or even from the start of the game. You add a flame shot to that, and he's just pretty much unstoppable, because flame shot actually scales with magical damage, or your magical base damage. So it does put quite a bit of a extra punch to it, if you think about that. Alpha Gaming is going to pick up the Digger as well as the Jawhead. They managed to pick up the Bruno as well. While on the Lilith side, they pick up the Ling, the Kufra. So pretty even traits, I would say. Alpha Gaming going for very utility heroes, I would say. With the Jawhead, they've got the Toss, And then with the Diggy, you've got reverse time as well as time's journey. So those two are really good kits to have. Whereas, you know, Bruno is just being Bruno, right? You have a lot of damage in Bruno, a lot of burst damage, a lot of burst straight away from the start of the game because of his crit, because of the mecha links. So for those who don't know how Bruno's kit really work, you know, you get for every skill that you do damage on the opponent, your crit chance increased by 4%. It stacks up to 5 times, so you get like 20% maximum for his crit chance, which is pretty much, you know, combined with a lot of items that you can get. You know, it's pretty much almost every single time. And then you add with the fact that he has, you know, volley shot. You got a ton amount of damage because of the 105% total physical attack that you have stacked on. And then you also get the flying tackle, which is a really good kit to have. It's kind of like a get closer. You can also use it to escape. But, you know, enough about Bruno. Let's take a look at the rest of Juff. So we've got okay, so we've got Luno is getting picked up as the last pick for the side of Alpha Gaming. They pick up the Baxia as well, which does really well against Lilith's craft because, you know, it does provide a little bit of I would say sustain, as well as in a sense a bit of a kit that can allow him to put a front line, and that's gonna suck up a lot of damage. It's output by both the Roger as well as the Tamus, who both will be going physical damage.
Welcome to Mobile Legends! 5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them! All troops deployed!
So here we go. Game 1 to Lilith and Alphat. I really hope I'm saying the name right. I absolutely do not want to slaughter the name. Mama Grey is going to be playing onto the Lunox alongside Kimiko. Well, Mama Jess and Shao is going to be picking up that blue buff of theirs. We do see a little bit of that team grouping up. Maybe try to get the gank onto the Tamus. I think if, you know, the Digi was level 2 right there, that would have been a really good situation for them to actually go with Tamus, because they've got the reverse time. They can actually, you know, get the gang onto the Tamus itself. Man, it's gonna be just clearing up onto the top side. And interestingly enough, we're seeing a lot of Roger picks, which is pretty, I gotta say, off meta, because we haven't really seen Roger come back into meta for quite some time now. I mean, if you think about it, Roger is one of those heroes where, if you compare to Bruno, it's a bit different. You know, he's super late game, right? He's one of those heroes that early game doesn't really do much, but if you allow him to farm into late game, then he does quite a bit of damage, especially with his kit. You know, he's got the Oof transformation. You know, he can go into open fire as well as the Hunter Step. But right now we're gonna see a first blood coming right through. They managed to get a double kill, which is a bit of a misplay, I would say, especially from Lilith. I didn't expect them to overstep their boundaries a little bit too much. They got caught up by the Baxia. And look at that, you know, they got 2 flame shots on both the Digi as well as the Baxia. So that does help with that early game burst damage in ganks. Interesting choice of boots on Helen Daphne, who's playing the Digi. So she's going for the cooldown reduction boot. Jawhead try to go for the flash jump, but not being able to land onto the Roger right there. Kara's going to be jumping down onto mid with the rest of Alpha to put a bit of pressure on mid lane. Meanwhile, Mama is just going to be doing what a top laner should be doing, just going to push down that lane.
Turtle resurrecting soon.
Mama Grey going to be able to steal that magic buff away, and now they've got the Kufa surrounded. And that's going to be the ultimate coming from the Bruno as well. They pick up the kill onto the Kufa. They might be able to pick up onto Ling, and yes, they does. Mei with the shot. And they're gonna sacrifice that top tower to Mama Jess, but in return they get 2 kills as well as the turtle. And that's gonna allow them to scale really well into the game. Shah does pick up the bomb turret at the same time. So 3 minutes in, 3 minutes 30 seconds in, and we are seeing Alpha Gaming pull away by a 2k goal lead. Very objective gaming coming up from Alpha Gaming. I really do like this. Mama Grey gonna be completing her tier 3 magic item as well. Shah already looking for someone to jump right onto area so high, gets bursted out instantly. Nunox, especially with those darkness shots coming in, and it's gonna hurt quite a bit. Roger has to be a little bit careful about the positioning. Make sure it doesn't get caught out of position. Again, coming in, those chaos assault shots do hurt. Definitely do not want to be at the end of those chaos blows. Well, we do see Ling rotating quite a bit. We haven't seen Shaviv do much yet. And that's just because of the rotation coming up from Alpha Gaming. They're just making sure that there is no space whatsoever for the side of Lilith to farm. Area so high on the Kufra, who's already died 3 times. So you can see a lot of emphasis being placed on the side of Alpha Gaming to just take out whoever's who's right in front. Oh my god, that jump though. But now Shah's gonna be tossing Mama Jess away, and that's the good thing about having a Jawhead, right? You do get quite a bit of a gank. Shah is nearly, she's just got out just by a slit of health. And I was talking about Jawhead before I got interrupted. So the Jawhead is just a really good hero, right? You got toss, you can just jump right in, you got a lock on to the backline, which is so good to have. Given that nowadays a lot of these heroes have a lot of escape abilities as well as the Ling. You know, look at the Ling, look at the Roger, they have a bit of those mini get closers that can allow them to dash out. If you got a Jawhead, you can toss them to your teammates. Justice Blade gonna be able gonna come up for Shah. So more cooldown reduction for the Jawhead, as well as true damage after every skill. Alpha Gaming trying to buy some space onto the bot lane. They do send the Jawhead to the top. They see 2 members, and now that's the green light for them to actually get the gank in. Will they soak the damage on this one? They might not have to, but Lunox is able to burst the Tamus down. Diggy soaking a bit of damage on the top side. They will trade towers though, I presume. And no, they don't. They actually, yep, they do. Alright, so they're gonna get the Bruno to finish up the top, the bottom turret. While the side of Lilith, they do manage to secure the tier 2 onto the top lane. So not much of a loss there. Both sides just trading the opposite ends. So Alpha Gaming, it's really important for them to step up the pressure. They try to go for the blue buff right there. They do not manage to do it, but they might be able to get the link. Now they turn the attention back onto area so high. As long as they can get the Kufa out of the way, they know that Lilith do not have a front line. It's a really greedy draft coming in from Lilith if you think about it, because they've only got 1 Thomas the front line, and look at that, they just go onto the back. And that chaos is not just too much for any of the members of Lilith to handle, and instantly Mama just gets blown up. No chance for any lifesteal whatsoever. And now you've got Sharif, who's just alone. Area so high, tries to jump right in, but Bruno's just gonna volley her backwards. And Shah is doing a good job at cutting the lanes, putting pressure onto whoever's who's trying to defend this top side. And now the turtle is up right on time, 8 minutes in. And I'm pretty sure Alpha Gaming is going to be able to secure that without much contest from Lilith. And that 2k goal lead has grown into a 8k goal lead now. 8 minutes and 30 seconds in. And that's just gonna scale so much more at a faster pace. If Alpha Gaming just making sure that they have control in the majority of this map, Sharif is able to secure that first major item for herself. Looking at the goal lead, look at that. Alpha Gaming just being so dominant throughout the first 10 minutes of this game. Nothing out of the ordinary. It looks like Roger's trying to go into Dimmer Hunter Sword, which does cost quite a bit into early game. Link being forced to use the ultimate right there, goes right back in. They might be able to find the Jawhead. Kufra with the magic ball, but can't catch up to Shah, who's drawing them so far away from bottom side. And I'm surprised that Alpha Gaming didn't, they could have just made use of the time to actually go for the top lane. And they could have gotten that tier 3 target. Maybe we got a kill onto the Tamus. So a rare mistake coming from Alpha Gaming. Blade armor coming in for the Baxia, which is going to allow Kimiko to soak up even more damage coming out from both the Roger as well as the Tamus. Pretty sure Tamus is going for the Queen's Wings right now. He's got both the base items up.
Launch attack. Lord resurrecting soon.
They are looking for a gang right now, and they might be able to find Tamus, who's just sticking so close to that tier 3 tower. And she's, good in map awareness coming from Mama Jess, but there really isn't much for Alpha Gaming to do other than wait for Lord come up. And speak of the devil, Lord will come up right now. So I'm not sure if there's going to be a contest coming from Lilith,
Initiate retreat.
but they're making, most out of the situation right now. They might be able to pick up the Jawhead. Good dash coming in from Fazaini.
Initiate retreat. Initiate retreat.
Not sure if they do manage to catch the link out. Yes, they do. The stun coming in. Mama Grey with the Chaos Assault. They will get it alongside with Hello Defin using the time reversal to catch him back into place. So 25 seconds without the link. But they do buy enough time to burn the Lord down. That's going to be wasted. We haven't seen much from Kara as well. I said that about Link in the early game. Now we need Kara to step up to the plate. If she can find a good engagement, or rather she can, wait for the crew to jump in, she can actually buy this game back. I think a Valor, even without items, is still very valuable in terms of an asset to the team because of his kit. You got the Pale Flames. And now Krufa jumping right in. Time's Journey being activated right now. Get them out of position. They blow up both the Tamus as well as the Krufa. And look at that, Bruno with the crit will blow Kara up. And now they might get game 1 as well. Sharif trying her best to delay the time taken for Alpha Gaming, but they've got eyes on the throne right there. No mistakes coming up. And that's going to be them picking up game 1. Itemizations wise, both sides are pretty straightforward. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. We do see Mama Grey going for that early game build. You go for the Lightning Wand, and then after you build into the concentrated energy for lifesteal, she's completed her level 3 magical jungle item, and then she's going for the magic glaive as well. So you can see, there's no point building any cooldown reduction item because of Lunox's passive. Cooldown items just do not work on Lunox because of how her passive works. So please do not build any cooldown items. There's no point in it. I see a lot of players going for, you know, cooldown boots, which doesn't work on Lunox. So no complaints from itemizations on Lunox. The rest of the heroes are pretty straightforward. Athena shield on Kimiko, as well as the blade armor. She's even managed to pick up the immortality. So in terms of rotation, I think I haven't seen any mistake from Alpha Gaming. If you go with the Lilith side, it's just a case of them not being able to really build into that late game. I mean, Kara decided to go for fleeting time instead of the glowing one first, which in my opinion, she could have just gone for glowing one. Glowing one is just too good of an item to give up on any mage right now. So even if you're playing Diggy, in my opinion, you can actually just go for it. Maybe not Diggy, alright? Maybe I'm just overstepping. I'm just exaggerating by a little bit. But I really do think that glowing one is such a good magical item. You can go on the Feller, you can even go on the Lunox if you want to. I've seen even I don't think Eudora, but I pretty much wouldn't see any Eudora. But I think in terms of mages, glowing one is just too good on any hero to give up, especially on Valor, because of how much damage it does over time. With that being said, congratulations to Alpha Gaming. Pretty straightforward. Other than the rare mistake, I wouldn't say rare mistake, but the catch out that, you know, the side of Lilith did manage to pick up Jawhead twice in the game, one in the bottom lane if I do remember, but they had to go for quite a bit of long chase, which I think it's fine, but Alpha Gaming could have done better there if they took the tier 3 tower, put a little bit of pressure onto the Tamus, which in the end is still played out, right? Because they were definitely in the lead. I mean, what can I complain about? 8 minutes in, 8k gold lead. You know, you're pretty much just waiting for the Lord to come off to go for the end game, and this is what Alpha did. They waited for the right time to end the game right there. With that being said, we'll go for a short break, but when we are back, we will go into game 2 between Lilith as well as Alpha Gaming.
Blast him harder! I'm gonna slaughter that pumpkin Franco myself!
Time to look alive, lads! Let's send Bane and his freaks back to the bottom of the sea! I can't bloody swim!
My suffering brothers and sisters, you will be free.
Blimey! That's Aurora Heart! Boys, we've got a big booty to take!
Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, we are finally back into the game, hopefully. Or rather, back with the FSL Mobile Legends for female players only. We've got the Singapore as well as Malaysia qualifiers. Some of them are there, but without further ado, let's begin Game 2 between Lilith as well as Alpha Gaming. We've got Game 1 already done, so if you missed that, Alpha Gaming managed to pick up that game pretty convincingly. We've got the draft already going on for the second game, so let's just jump straight into it. So there we go right now. So it looks like we got Alpha Gaming banning out the Guinevere as well as the Sylvana, which is pretty interesting because they did manage to deal with the Sylvana pretty well. Granted, Sylvana is one of those heroes where she does really well on the off lane. Not too sure how they actually wanted to play in the previous game, but they did play it into the top side, which is not too bad. I mean, she has that lens as well as the CC to actually catch out squishy heroes, but she doesn't really do well against the Fsl as well as Kufra. So she's one of those heroes where she's good against squishy heroes, not that good against tankers who can actually soak up a lot of basic damage. So looks like we've got another Kufra as well as a jaw hit combo. And then they pick up a Bucks as well. Really tanky lineup coming up from Alpha Gaming, which is what we pretty much saw coming into Game 1. And looks like they are sticking to what works for them. While Lilith, they do pick up the carry as well as the Selena. So carry getting let through, which will get picked up by Lilith, who banned out both the Diggy as well as the Grog.
Your team is banning.
I can't say I'm too surprised by the Lilith getting, or Lilith banning out the Grog. I mean, I spoke about Grog, the power of nature, as well as the rush. But I think what makes Grog really dangerous is the fact that he has that spin, the power of nature, which is quite scary. And then combined with the fact that Wild Charge just puts out so much burst damage. But more importantly, and this is one of the most underrated fact about Grog, is that his passive, Ancestral Gift, gives him immunity to CC, which I mentioned that in the previous game.
Your team is picking.
So, if you face against heroes like Selena, even for Valor, if you face against heroes like Buxia, Jawhead, Kufra, whatever it is, right? Grog is one of those heroes that can frontline really well because he can just soak up any of the CCs being put out if he or she uses Grog's power of nature at the right time.
Your team is picking.
That being said, they will pick up the Hylos, and they do pick up the Nana as well. We spoke about Selena in the first few games, so Selena does get picked up. And as usual, it looks like they will fall to their comfort pick on Mama Gray's Lunox, who did really well in the first game. Those kills, shots do hurt quite a bit, especially into the late game when she does have her items up. And with concentrated energy like we saw, she's not exactly the easiest to actually take down. That being, I think they do complete their lineup with Granger getting picked up. Who should get played by me. So we talked about Granger as well as the burst damage potential available on the draft, and I think in general they just have a really good draft. I mean, it doesn't look, if you compare to the first game, I wouldn't say it's less scary. In fact, it's equally scary. You swap out the Bruno for the Granger. Pretty much does the same job with the maybe a slightly different kit, but the concept behind the draft is still the same, right?
Smash them. All troops deployed.
So I've compared the Bruno to the Granger, and I mentioned about how it's pretty much the a similar kind of graph, and that's because, you know, both heroes do really well in early game. They have, you know, kits that allow them to scale really comfortably into the late game. They don't really need too much item to come online. They have decent amount of burst. They are always able to partake in the team fight at any stage, you know, in this matchup, and it doesn't really look like they have anyone on the side of Lilith that can really pose a danger to it. Granted, there is, you know, a bit of a CC coming up from the Selena as well as the Nana, and yes, there is also, you know, you think about it, the Leomord that has, you know, the stun if he does summon the Steed. But that being said, it's still so hard to catch out, you know, both the Lunox and the Gregor because of the Kufra and the Baxia, who's just so tanky as lineups. And now we've got the Kufra trying to jump in to Tyrant's Madness, not being able to jump on it. And they do manage to stun them up again, taking a lot of shots. However, Duffin does burn the flash to get out of the way. And meanwhile, you got the jaw hit, not being able to defend the top lane tower. So like I said, Lilith definitely doing a lot better in this game. Carry able to rotate earlier with the help of the Nana. Meanwhile, we do see Alpha Gaming still putting a lot of prioritization onto the bot lane, trying to secure that tier 1 tower. They do manage to do so.
Initiate retreat.
While Shah's gonna be rotating down into the middle to help her fellow tank. Mama just pushing down the top side with the Leomord.
First blood.
And that's still gonna be the first blood coming in. Kara does get picked up. So Alpha Gaming definitely a lot slower pace in this game, but they still get the first blood, and they also get the bottom turret. So looks like the persistence, their persistence, has paid off. Total up for grabs right now, so you can see a lot of this, in fact majority of the heroes now coming onto the bottom side of the map, while Jawhead's the only hero that's on top side taking up the tier 1 tower. Leomord's gonna trade with it. Mama just gonna secure that tier 1 on the bot lane. So good map awareness for Mama Jess. I mean, she could have been a little bit greedy to pick up the tier 1. I think if she burned her ultimate, she still could have gotten out easily without much harm. But, you know, safety first. You know, don't want to give away that important kill. As an offlaner, your role is you basically just don't have to die, right? Just don't die, split push, and you buy your team the space needed for the MM to farm, and still put the pressure on onto the opposite end of the map. That's what your role as an offlaner is to do, right? You're pretty much alone in the majority of the game. You just gotta do what an offlaner is gotta do. We do see a little bit of a dive coming in for the crew front, not being able to land to anyone. Itemizations wise, 4 minutes in, you know, most of the tier 1 boats have already been completed. They're already starting to build into the first item. Although we do see Mama Jess getting caught up in a bad spot. Good rotation from Alpha Gaming to rotate the bot lane. Nana's ulti will not land on anyone, and they also managed to get the kill on the shot. So both teams are pretty much mirroring each other's rotation right now, which isn't a surprise. I mean, 4 minutes and 50 seconds and it is still Alpha Gaming with a slight 500 gold lead, pretty much negligible at this point. But next turtle fight is gonna dictate who's gonna be in the lead in terms of momentum. Right now it's pretty balanced out. Lesser flame shots as compared to the previous game. We do see Kufra with a flash. It looks like they've gotten the stun right onto the Nana. I mean, she's got the Molina's gift. She should be able to run right out there. Glorious pathway to help her run out of it as well. They do manage to get the Kufra, but that's going to be a high loss, paying her life for a Chaos. A shot after Chaos, a shot comes in. They get one. onto the carry, and they tried to get another one onto Area So High. She does manage to get out, like I said, and because of the pressure coming from Mama Jess, they will have to back off and defend that top side. Meanwhile, Shah gonna be a pain in Lilith's neck just to push out the bottom wave. Bloodlust X does come up for Mama Jess, and that will definitely help with her quest to push that top side. Shah with now a little bit of a threat. Do see Shah going in for the lock on, but she does recognize the fact that Hylos as well as Nana are nearby. We'll have to back off for that. And that's going to be a slight trade on objectives right here. Lilith going to be prioritizing that turtle. Meanwhile, on the opposite end of the map, we do see Alpha Gaming secure that top lane. Jawhead now being chased, but Shah does a good job at juking her way out of this. Mama Jess does have the steed. If she wants to survive, I'm sure she will have to use it right now. Haladefin with the ultimate Timer's Madness just to secure that kill. And I'm not sure why Mama Jess could have used the ultimate right there just to get out, but I guess she got a little bit greedy, used the flash instead. But still does get cut out by the rest of Alpha Gaming. Now with the gang, I'm pretty sure they will secure the bot lane. And if they can find the Selena right here, that will be an important catch up. Chaos Assault, too much for her to deal with. And Kara's just gonna be doing her best to slow down the push coming from Alpha Gaming. I mean, they will not be able to get a tier 3 here, but might have spoken too soon. They do want to lay siege to this. Kara taking a lot of shots coming in from the Lunox, and they force their way into a tier 3 turret. Not sure if they do want to stick around a bit too much. Jawhead and Baxia already on the top side. They do not manage to pick up the Nana, but nevertheless, they do chase her away. I like the fact that Mei, who's playing the Granger, has gone for Purify, because that does allow her to get out of trouble really easily. If you think about it, you know, you've got quite a bit of a threat on the end of Lilith that can actually catch her out. You know, you do have the Abyssal Arrow from the Selena, you do have, you know, Nana's second skill, you do have Hylot's first skill as well, so there's a lot of, you know, arsenal that's available in Lilith's, you know, kit to actually catch out the heroes of Alpha Gaming. So a little bit of extra protection by picking up the Purify. Shah's gonna secure that turtle for Alpha Gaming. Meanwhile, we do see the rest of Lilith. They are aware of the Jawhead coming right through. They do toss the Hylos. I believe that was meant for Area So High. But right now, Tyrant's Revenge just to pull him even further behind. The Glorious Pathway will not save him, but they do manage to pick up the Granger. And now there's going to be trouble for Alpha Gaming. They have to back off right now. Mama Jess tries to back out just out of it. Abyssal Arrow just slightly out of range. So not much of a casualty for both sides other than losing both the Hylos as well as the Granger on both ends. I gotta say, game 2 is definitely way more even compared to game 1. You got a case of slight desperation coming out from Alpha Gaming right now. They're trying to gank onto anyone. They do manage to burn the ultimate from the Hylos. Actually had to use the Glorious Pathway to get out of trouble. I should be up in about 30 seconds, which means it should be available for the next team fight that's happening around the Lord's Pit. Blade of Despair coming up for the Jawhead, so extra damage going in the way of Shah. No surprises in the itemizations right now. But Lunox might be able to find a kill right here. Glorious Pathway once again coming off of Kara, who does chase them away from the Lord speed. 4 more seconds before the Lord comes up. I'm pretty sure they will turn their backs right now to try to kick the Lord, or at least try to force Lilith to actually come for to contest for it. Looks like they will push out that middle wave before proceeding with the Lord Jawhead still at the top side, which means if Lilith decides to take a fight right now, it's gonna be a 5 versus 4. Definitely gonna be in their favor. Look at that, Alpha Gaming, they know that Jawhead's slightly pushing the top side. They do not have to take the risk. They managed to catch up to Selena once again. No, it's going to be the carry, and that's going to be a huge win for them. They get the high loss at the same time, and now they might even lose the Nana who's got Melina gift, but I'm sure that's going to be picked up by Mama Grey right there. 3 men down, and Alpha Gaming do not even lose anyone for that. They will get not only 3 kills, on top of it, they will also get the Lord, as well as the blue buff in Lilith's jungle. And that is a huge deciding factor for Alpha Gaming. They managed to get the carry with the help of Hello Defin. Went in the right time, good job onto it. She's done a fantastic job in both games, and now they're looking to end the game right here, right now. They've got Lord down in the middle lane. A huge wave coming in from the bottom side as well. Good job to not push it out. Not sure if they did it intentionally, but they do have a huge wave coming bottom side, but they might not even need it. Lord already down to half health right now, and now look at that. All they have to do is just burn the front line. Mama Jess trying to push them back. They do manage to get the Lord down. They've got 2 huge waves on both ends. Abyssal Arrow gonna be landing onto the box here right there. Not an issue. She's gonna soak right up. Kimiko's healthy enough to actually do just that, but meanwhile, just want to burn the highlights down, but members of Alpha are really low, alive, but really low. I don't think they will be able to take another team fight right here, and rightfully so. They will back off. Alpha Gaming will buy one more team fight. I wouldn't say it's the end right now. Yes, they do lose 2 tier 3 turrets on both the top and the middle lane, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, they still can come back from this. Antique carriers will come out for the Kufa, so that's gonna negate even more damage on the side of Lilith Gaming for Lilith every single time they damage him. And now the critical damage of Granger, it's gonna hurt, so they're gonna make sure they take the fight smartly, because they essentially only have one front liner, right? And that's gonna be the high loss. Whereas if you look over to the side of Alpha Gaming, right, they have Kimiko who's playing the Boxer, they have Hello Defin who's playing the Daphne who's playing the Kufra, and now you've got Jawhead's going for the brute force armor, and that's gonna provide even more front line ability for the Jawhead, which means it's gonna be even way harder for Lilith to break that front line down. I think Krufa actually wanted to go for the dive, but will have to back out. Mama Jess has to be careful about the positioning, tries to go for the poke. Does summon the steam, but look at that! Look at Mama Grey just pop off those shots! And that's gonna burn them down. They do manage to secure the kill onto the high loss. They're lacking that front liner, and Mage is going to town. They will pick up the Krufa with the help of the Abyssal Arrow. They might get the Jawhead as well, has the immortality. Mama Grey will pick up Mama Jess, but it is a trade 1-for-1. I feel like Lilith is doing an exceptional job at not only defending, but this is partially due to the fact that you see a case of Alpha Gaming trying to end the game right here, right? They're not, I wouldn't say they're desperate, but I feel like they're trying to end the game a little bit too early, right? Go for the ball lane. You've done a tremendous job of pushing the top and middle side, so I feel like they can play a bit more patient, you know, try to get that bomb turret. When you get, you know, super minions on all 3 lanes, then you can look for a misplay coming up from Alpha Gaming, or rather of Lilith, because Alpha Gaming right now, they're definitely still in the lead, right? You got 10k goal lead, but at this point in time, the goal lead doesn't really count because you've got both teams already pretty much going for the in-game items. If you look at Lilith, even though they are on the back foot, they don't really lack items. They can definitely stand their ground, especially with the help of those turret shots coming in. So the only thing they can do right now is to just hopefully pull Lilith out of the base. So they will try to scout people out with the Abyssal Arrow and those traps. Meanwhile, Mama Grey is gonna be pushing out that bottom lane. Blood Rain's coming off the Nana, so that's a really late game item. That's pretty much the last item that usually mages go for. I think she's trying to build into her immortality as well. Alpha Gaming just gonna wait for the lot to push right in. And I like the fact that, you know, Mama Grey's choice of item is to build onto the Holy Crystal, because instead of going for the Blood Wings, you know, you increase your magical damage by percentage. And now look at that crew fire will go in. It's a huge ultimate coming in. He catches 3 members out, and that's gonna set up the fight for the rest of Alpha Gaming. They burn away both the High Lords, and they get the Lord coming in. They will end the game right here. I mean, what a play that was coming from Kufa.
Victory!
And with that, it's pretty much going to be a 2-0 coming in from Alpha Gaming. I mean, I know I slaughter the... I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced. Hello, Daphne? I think that's how you pronounce it. But that was just an instant play right there, right? Going in onto the back line, diving in just like that, catching them out in the bad spot, flashing in, and then just catching 3 members out, you know, laying the foundation for that team fight. And with that, it just gives them the position that they need, especially for Mama Grey and May, to actually do the damage. Because, you know, most of the time you do see the Hylos in front just soaking a lot of the damage, not allowing, you know, Alpha Gaming to end the game right there. But with the fight, because the Kufa did manage to get 3 members out, you know, Mama Grey and May are able to, you know, kill whoever's out of position. You can see them scrambling to decide between, you know, backing off in the tower or, you know, taking the fight right there, and they chose to fight right there, which I wouldn't say it's a bad choice, but at that point I think Alpha Gaming, you know, those split seconds where they were stunned up by the Kufa's ultimate were more than enough for Alpha Gaming to blow anyone up. And in that case, you know, once Kara went down, you know, without the High Lords, they don't really have a front line like I mentioned. You know, Mama Jazz is the only other hero which can take any sort of damage, and, you know, Leomon isn't really the tankiest hero to begin with. And with that, you know, Alpha Gaming, all they had to do was just end the game right there, especially with the Lord's help. It was just pretty much easy for them. With that being said, congratulations to Alpha. They will pick up their game 2, making it a 2-0. And, you know, allowing them to go into the next game, which I believe will be the semi-finals. So you've already got our first semi-finalist of this competition, which is Alpha Gaming and Fsl Mlbb. Their journey will end right here. Remember, we will be streaming 2 games tomorrow. The first semi-finals, which will be the winners between Bidadari Esport as well as Team, and the winner of Dreams and Potato. So those 2 winners, those 4 teams, when they face off, will take the 2 winners, and then that will be our first semi-finals. And for the second semi-finals in the lower half of the table, I wouldn't say lower half of the table, but the other half of the table, we will see Asterix face against the winners of Raid 7's Bam and Red Roses, which I think has already concluded. Yep, Red 7 did manage to pick up the win over Red Roses. So we will see Red Roses against Asterix, and the winner of that will face against Alpha Gaming. So I'm pretty excited to see where that will take us. Remember, we'll be streaming tomorrow as well. It's gonna be 8 p.m. SGT if you're in Southeast Asia, so remember to catch that up. With that being said, once again, a big shout out to our official partners, Dreamcore, Super Solid, as well as Yahoo for supporting stream. Remember, this has been organized by FSL. If you're interested to find out more about the Female Esports League as well as the other games that will be happening throughout the year, remember it's going to be a year-long circuit, you can head on down to FSL on Facebook as well as our social media platform to find out more. My name has been Aris. I've been absolutely excited for the games today. I mean, Alpha Gaming and Team both put on the show, and at the cost of their opponents, they go through the next round. Remember, I'll see you tomorrow.